Spectrum Mobile has had quite a considerable amount of changes since its launch in 2018. Back then it charged $45 a month per line for its unlimited service. Back when it was known as just a 4G LTE network. There was no 5G around in that era. And today it raves about its unlimited plan being just $29.99 a month per line with 5G included, with some customers even getting one line free for a year due to bundling with Charter Spectrum's home internet service. Now, with that being said, is Spectrum Mobile's $29.99 unlimited plan still worth it, even if you don't qualify to get it free for a year? Let's take a look. So first off, I need to address how exactly Spectrum Mobile operates its network. Spectrum Mobile doesn't actually own its own wireless network. It actually leases out its own network infrastructure through Verizon Wireless, instead of building out its own network. A pro is that it doesn't carry the responsibility of actually having to manage the network, while a con is that it is completely dependent on Verizon. So if there's ever a problem with the Verizon network, then Spectrum is at the mercy of Verizon to get it back up and running, which, how you look at it, could also be a pro right there. So now, we're going to go ahead and dive directly into the $29.99 unlimited plan itself. It comes with unlimited talk and text, which all the unlimited plans nowadays do anyway. It also has all the taxes and fees included in the cost. I love that. So there's no extra charges, just $29.99 per line. However, their unlimited plan isn't so unlimited. Spectrum Mobile is considered an MVNO carrier, which is just fancy terms for we pay rent for our network. And they have their own limitations, which they can set. Spectrum Mobile has went this route. After 20 gigabytes of data usage, your data speeds are reduced to 1 megabit per second for the download and half a megabit per second for the upload, and your data is deprioritized. So essentially you get 20 gigabytes of high speed, and then you get slower speeds for the rest of the month. Now, I must say this, a majority of the other MVNO carriers take it a step even further. They actually drop you down to 2G speeds, which is a quarter of a megabit, after you've used all your high-speed data. So if Spectrum Mobile, instead of dropping you down all the way to 2G speeds, they drop you to 1 megabits per second for the download and half a megabits for the upload. So if Spectrum Mobile being the more generous cell phone provider, is this even adequate for today's standards? So here's the thing we need to take into consideration. You're going to be using a cell phone, a smaller screen to view your content on. The majority of you will have no issues browsing the web and checking email. If you view content with a lot of pictures, they will be just a tad slower. Give them a little extra time to load. As far as video content goes, viewing it on a phone at 480p is going to be your sweet spot, which indeed is DVD quality. You could try to push it to 720p if you let it buffer a little bit, but honestly, that's about the limit. As we can see here, Spectrum Mobile actually caps the video quality at 480p anyway, which is DVD quality. So, in all honesty, everything up until this point, I can get on board with. But when it comes to how they handle their mobile hotspot, a majority of you are going to have an issue with this, myself included. And here's why. Their mobile hotspot comes with 5 gigabytes of high-speed data. After your 5 gigabytes of high-speed usage has been used up, you are then throttled to 600 kilobits per second. And in all honesty, you can't really do much with that. You definitely can't watch video content with this. You might be able to browse the web very slowly, but you're not going to have a very good experience with this. This right here is essentially, for today's standards, very unusable. Plus, your 5 gigabytes of high-speed mobile hotspot actually goes towards your total mobile data allowance. Meaning, on your 20 gigabytes of high-speed data for your cell phone, if you were to use up 5 gigabytes for the mobile hotspot, that leaves you with just 15 gigabytes of high-speed data for your cell phone. Just something to keep in mind. Additionally, with the $29.99 plan, you will get access to Spectrum Mobile's out-of-home Wi-Fi, which is actually a perk of the Spectrum Home Internet Service. That's why it says it requires the broadband service. What that essentially is when you travel to areas, you can use Spectrum's branded hotspots. So instead of using your phone's data, you can use Spectrum's own Wi-Fi hotspots. You also get Wi-Fi calling, which is pretty standard nowadays, including most MVNOs have the Wi-Fi calling, which is really nice because if you travel to an area where Verizon doesn't have the best coverage, or if you're in a metal building, you can hop on the Wi-Fi and direct all your calls directly through Wi-Fi. Very nice feature. And of course, there's no contracts, and it is worth noting you can switch plans at any time. And if you wanted to add smartwatch access like an Apple Watch or Samsung, you can definitely do so for just $10 extra a month. I just want to clarify because some people get a little confused on this. If you have an Apple Watch or Samsung Watch and you always have your phone around, it is not required for you to add the smartwatch access for $10 a month. The only reason you would want to do that is if you wanted to leave your phone at home, for example. Like if you were going for a walk or a jog and didn't want to have your phone around, you can pay an extra $10 a month to have access without your phone around. But if you always have your phone around, then essentially there's no need to have the extra $10. Now, what about tablet access? So Spectrum Mobile does include the ability to add tablets. The only thing is, you do need a whole separate plan. So you do need a whole $29.99 plan. Other carriers have what's called a tablet add-on, where you can pay around $10 a month to get shared data between the tablets. With Spectrum Mobile, they don't offer that. You will need a whole $29.99 plan if you want to use data on your tablet. With all this being said, guys, is Spectrum Mobile's $29.99 plan honestly still worth it? If you're one of those people that has this as a free line as part of Spectrum's promotion, then yes, because you're not paying anything extra for it. For everyone else that actually has to pay $29.99 per line, here is what I will say. I would say that a majority of you might be on board with this, and it is an okay value for what it has to offer. But what if I told you there's a competitor out there which recently lowered the price of their unlimited plan to just $25 a month? They don't have a 20 gigabyte high-speed cap. It is completely unlimited, and their hotspot is also completely unlimited. Guys, I do have that video for you to check out, so you can go ahead and compare and see which one of these providers is going to be the best fit for you. So guys, I will see you over there.